Have you ever questioned what drives fear and cruelty in leadership? These two elements, often seen as negative, have been fundamental aspects of leadership throughout history. They are not just random occurrences, but rather strategic tools employed by those in power. One key text that navigates this labyrinth of leadership is The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli. This provocative masterpiece, penned in the 16th century, not only acknowledges but embraces fear and cruelty as essential cogs in the machinery of governance. Machiavelli, through his insightful lens, presents a starkly realistic portrayal of leadership, stripped of any romanticism. His work serves as a manual for rulers, guiding them towards a path of authority and control. As we delve into the following scenes, we'll dissect specific passages from The Prince, examining the intricate balance between fear, cruelty, and love. So are you ready? Dive with me into the depth of The Prince to unravel the mystery of fear and cruelty in leadership. Machiavelli, in his wisdom, postulated that it is better for a leader to be feared than loved. Diving deep into the pages of The Prince, we encounter a world where fear is more than just a chilling sensation. It's a tool, a weapon, a shield. In the 17th chapter, Machiavelli spells out the rationale behind his notorious claim. He argues that leaders cannot escape being hated by some, thus it is safer to be feared. Let's dissect this further. According to Machiavelli, human nature is fickle. People pledge their loyalty when the seas are calm, but at the first sign of a storm, they abandon ship. Love, he suggests, is a bond that people break when it suits them. Fear, on the other hand, is a much stronger tether. The fear of punishment, of retribution, keeps people in line. But what about the moral implications, you might ask? Well, Machiavelli was no idealist. He was a pragmatist. His philosophy was rooted in the harsh realities of power and survival, not in utopian dreams. He believed that a leader's primary responsibility was to maintain order and stability, even if that meant instilling fear. Yet it's crucial to note that Machiavelli did not advocate for mindless cruelty or tyrannical rule. He argued that fear should be balanced with a certain degree of respect. A leader must avoid being despised at all costs because despised rulers are the ones who get overthrown. Machiavelli's words, written over 5 centuries ago, still echo in the corridors of power today. Leaders across the globe, consciously or not, apply his teachings. They wield fear as a tool to consolidate power, to command respect, and to maintain order. So the next time you feel a shiver of fear at the mention of a leader's name, remember Machiavelli's wise words. Fear is not always a signal of tyranny. Sometimes it's a tool employed by leaders to ensure stability and order. It's a part of the complex game of power and survival. So fear, as Machiavelli suggests, can serve as a protective cloak for the leader. But what about cruelty? Machiavelli had unique insights on this as well. In The Prince, he delves into the use of cruelty in governance, with a particular focus on Chapter 8 where he discusses the rule of Agathocles of Syracuse. Agathocles, in his pursuit of power, left no stone unturned. His rule was marked by a series of brutal acts that would make the faint of heart shudder. Machiavelli, however, isn't interested in the morality of these acts. Instead, he's fascinated by their effectiveness. He observes that Agathocles managed to secure his rule and maintain it, despite the cruelty of his methods. Machiavelli argues that cruelty, while loathsome, can be a necessary tool in governance. It's a bitter pill, but sometimes it's the only one that works. He believes that cruelty can help consolidate power and control, especially in the initial stages of rule. Once power is established, the leader can then transition to a more benevolent style of governance. But there's a catch. Machiavelli cautions against the indiscriminate use of cruelty. He advocates for its strategic and calculated use. The leader must use it to instill fear, not hatred. The former can keep the populace in check while the latter can incite rebellion. Therefore, the ruler must strike a delicate balance. The ruler must also ensure that his acts of cruelty serve a purpose. They must be aimed at strengthening his rule and not merely satisfying his sadistic desires. This, Machiavelli believes, is what separates a successful ruler from a tyrant. Machiavelli's insights on cruelty in governance are as fascinating as they are disturbing. They force us to confront the darker side of power and leadership. They make us question the lengths to which one should go to secure and maintain power. Cruelty, it seems, can be a bitter but effective pill in the pursuit of power and control. It's a harsh reality that Machiavelli doesn't shy away from, and neither should we. After all, understanding the nature of power is the first step to wielding it responsibly. But is it all about fear and cruelty, or is there more to the story? Let's delve deeper into Machiavelli's intricate web of political philosophy. In chapter 19 of The Prince, Machiavelli advises rulers to strive to avoid being despised and hated, a sentiment that seems to contradict his earlier endorsements of fear and cruelty. Here Machiavelli introduces a new element into the mix: love. He acknowledges the value of being loved by subjects, but he maintains that fear is more reliable and controllable. Yet, he warns against inciting hatred, as this could lead to rebellion. This complex balance between fear and love is one of Machiavelli's most enduring ideas. It suggests that leadership isn't merely about instilling fear or showcasing cruelty. A successful ruler, according to Machiavelli, must strategically employ fear without fostering hatred and inspire love without surrendering authority. The balance, it seems, is a tricky but essential aspect of leadership. So what can we take away from this exploration of The Prince? Machiavelli in his seminal work presents us with an intricate interplay of fear, cruelty, and leadership. This exploration has shown how fear, often perceived negatively, can be a potent tool in a leader's arsenal. Fear, when wielded with precision, can help maintain order and obedience. Machiavelli's The Prince also delves into the role of cruelty in governance. It is not a celebration of heartlessness, but a pragmatic look at the sometimes necessary harshness of rule. We've also grappled with the delicate balance between fear and love in leadership. A leader must strive for love but prepare for fear, as fear is more reliable. It is a challenging equilibrium to strike, but one that can lead to a stable rule. As we ponder on these thoughts, we realize that leadership, as depicted by Machiavelli, is indeed a complex tapestry woven with threads of fear, love, and at times, cruelty.